Welcome back, everyone. It's the Aces NBA show, and this lineup is absolutely stacked. We've got one half of Special K, the best tennis player in Australia, Thanasi Kokonakis. We've got Jeff fresh off maths with his account. He's got more accounts than I've had Uber Eats this week. And we've got Pistols Pete, New York finest, but none of that. We have the center of the Houston Rockets in the building, and Jock Landale joins us. Jock, welcome to the Aces NBA show.
What a warm-up, unbelievable.
I stumbled at the end there.
Unbelievable.
I'll give you something
just dropped a F-bomb. Just dropped an F-bomb straight out the gate, so that's all right.
How you doing, brother? It's good to see you back.
Yeah, no, it's good to be back. Quick stint, but, just always good to touch base back in Australia and see your ugly mugs and,
He's a good man. I said, mate, Tommy talks, and just a cheeky little cameo on the Aces NBA show. It's a fair. We've never had 5 on the set, boys. So this is
We're stretching it.
We
are stretching it.
We've just lost our 5 virginity on the set. Righto, it's a big show. Jock, do you sit back and watch all this NBA finals, or do you just try to get away from it all?
There's usually like an initial, just like, man, just leave me alone. I don't want to watch any of this. And then once the sting of season being over kind of stops, then you start to get back into it. So I usually give it a round if we make the playoffs. But yeah, I haven't watched anything this round, to be honest. I've kind of checked in on 1 or 2 teams, but yeah, I stay away from it for the most part, and then I tune back in.
Things have changed, obviously, now. We've seen results, and we'll talk about them in a bit. But going back to the start of the playoffs, taking the Rockets out of it, who would you have predicted would probably go all the way, not knowing the results we know now?
Can I pick one from each conference?
Yeah, do that.
Because it's so tight that I didn't really have like a good grasp on who was going to win it all. But I thought Boston was going to come out of the East, obviously.
So did Jeff. So did I, mate. Obviously.
Yeah, mate. Isn't that a crazy turnaturnaround?
Have you got your Knicks outfit yet?
Not yet. Hey, well, there's a pulse there. There is a pulse. That's all we need.
We'll talk about that later anyway.
Let's just go back to Jock, all right?
We'll see. And then I always thought the Nuggets were going to come out on top. Just the performance they put on against us late in the season. I was like, these guys are legit no matter what way you spin it. So those were kind of my 2 picks to come out and go to the finals.
Speaking of the finals, it was the most physical series against the Warriors. How were the players after it all? I know it didn't go the way you would have liked, but you can tell it. Steph Curry goes down with a hammy. Jimmy Butler, who's playoff Jimmy, he was cooked by the end of it.
Yeah.
Everyone's starting to have a go at him, but I wonder how much that took a toll, that series.
I would say it definitely took a toll. I think just the coincidence of Steph kind of doing his hammy that first game after our series, because Amen Thompson is one of a kind, mate. Like, that dude is a freak of nature, and you guys haven't seen anything yet. Like, I'm really high. I never give him praises to his face because we got that kind of relationship, but like behind his back, I'm like, this dude's unbelievable.
What is it about him?
Dude, he moves at a pace, does things that you just can't teach, and then on top of that, he's a sponge. He just soaks everything up. He's a complete gym rat. Like you've seen the Tyler Hero thing. That we've seen that multiple times through the years. We've seen that in practice. Like, he has like this light switch where the competitor, he walks. It's white line fever at its finest. Walks on the court and it's just like bang, and he's a psycho. He has all those things where it's like you just like, it's all the makings to be superstar in this league for a very long time. So like coming out of playing against him, that's why we were so confident about playing against them and just matching those two up the whole time. You really saw him settle in after the first 3 games in particular, and then it was like he was bringing that physicality, but also punching 20 points, 8 rebounds, couple of assists, and it was like it looked easy for him. So yeah. Anyways, going back to the Warriors, I felt like we beat them up a lot. And I felt like the boys did a good job of kind of sticking to our game plan, which was exactly that. It was just like, beat them up because we can go, 12 deep, 13 deep, no problem. And I feel as though that definitely took a toll because it was a physical series. Like, our guys, you didn't really get the vibe that our guys were too beat up to be complete, because they're 20-year-olds, like they're 23-year-olds who've got no run in their legs at all compared to those guys. And so it was just like running out of the gym. The tough thing for us is that we still don't see the game at the level that those guys do. So that's where they kind of nicked us, where they were just like, they're veterans and they get the game. And, you know, when the playoffs come around, everyone starts playing a lot harder. And so that gap kind of like shortens itself up between the teams that play hard. And then you've kind of got to be able to think the game with all the scouts and stuff. So I think that's a little bit of where we lost it in the end. But, mate, it was a hell of a series. It was unbelievable.
Obviously, as you mentioned, they're so young. Defense is absolutely locked. And, you know, once the offensive side, you know, gets there for some of the young guys, like our man Jaylen Green, he's stitched me up a couple of times, a big fella.
Well, your predictions didn't go the way that you wanted, eh?
They didn't. But yeah, like it's a very exciting time. There's such a good young team, and the future is looking really bright.
Just on that, I want to ask the question with Jaylen Green, Jock. There was I think it might have been Game 5 that he wasn't really playing the second half. He's one of your best shooters. Well, he was during the regular season. Freddie Van Fleet certainly took that off him in the playoffs, but. What was the go there? Did the coach just think that wasn't the right matchup for certain? Because it was kind of hard to predict if he was going to play Game 6, Game 7.
Ime's one of those old school guys where, like the term All-Star doesn't carry all that much weight with him, and I feel as though winning's number one priority. So he puts out on the court who he sees fit, and it doesn't matter if there's like a lot of teams in those scenarios, they give bandwidth to their superstars no matter what. And I think a lot of teams in the playoffs kind of like brush that off to the side, but he's like that the whole season. So it was never uncommon that you'd see some of our best players, highest paid guys, Dylan, Jaylen, not so much Fred, but like Alpi, you didn't see them playing at the end of games. And that wasn't just something in the playoff. It's obviously like magnified during the playoffs, but that's all season long. He's kind of benching dudes at the end of the game if the game's just not going their way. And it doesn't mean that he's lost faith in him by any stretch, but he prioritizes the right stuff, I'd say. And I think in that moment, Jaylen was kind of having a tough go of it, just kind of getting his feet wet in the playoffs for the first time. And I think that's something that people don't talk about with JG is that like he showed up all season long. Like, doesn't take games off, and that's like you get to the playoffs and he has a rough go of it, and it kind of is what it is. And that I don't think that's just he was so good, and there was such a high dose of him through the year that people just knew to key in on him, and so we didn't really do anything to help him out. I don't think. I think that like we kind of like absorbed the game as it came to us, which is the right thing to do in that moment. And JG didn't kick up a stink. He could have very easily gone into his own world and be like, man, screw this. Like, I'm not getting the ball. I'm having a rough go of it. But he just kept plugging away. And there was very little like selfishness about the way he went about those playoff games. And like credit to him, that'd be tough in that kind of a moment with the level of scrutiny he gets as well, which I think is completely unjustified. But yeah, is what it is.
You mentioned Dylan Brooks in that. I'm glad. Let's talk seriously because Cocky and I talk about certain players. Now, there's certain players in all sports.
Very quiet over there.
I'm waiting for like the one-liner over my shoulder to come in.
I'm just letting the man go. This is him. This is a rare occasion.
There's certain players that, for everybody else, fans out there, even fans of not that team, where you just cannot stand them as a player, even if you don't know them as a person. Like, man, I hate Dylan Brooks, especially around Olympic time in Canada. I said a few things. But I'm assuming it's the exact opposite when you're a teammate with him.
100%.
And you buy into that.
Dude, he's and I don't say this lightly, he's one of the best teammates I've ever had in my life. Like, he's awesome.
I believe you, but I don't. But you know what I mean.
Great guy, yeah. Great guy. Prepares himself for war every single night, and he just doesn't care who he ticks off. And that's tough, man. Like that's really hard to like show up every night and be like, no, this is what I'm going to do. And like there would be games where I'd say to him like, DB, you're so much better when you just like lock in on the game and don't worry about all the rah-rah and all that kind of shit. And he'll just be like, there's a method to the madness. Just wait. Just watch.
He does that staring thing, doesn't he, at the start of the game? Where he's just staring down the other end of all the other teams.
He's completely psychotic. Like, completely psychotic. But, hey, it works. And he's like an integral part of that team. And we all feel the intensity drop off when he's not around. Like, that's super real, is to have a guy who kind of is a enforcer, a tone setter for us. And with our young group, they probably needed that a little bit. And so his value is so much more than what he does And he had a career year this year that nobody talks about because we had so much other stuff going on positively for us. But, you know, DB is awesome. He's the Chris Goulding of the NBA.
I think you're exactly right.
Like everyone hates Chris around the league. Chris is a prick.
Yeah.
I love him.
Yeah.
But it's the same with DB. You know, these guys.
You need villains.
You need them.
Yeah.
And I think that's great. I think it's great for the league. I think it's great for like your team is having that guy that you know is going to like be in there. And yeah, I love DB, man.
It's refreshing to see that old school mentality in a league now where everyone seems to be friends.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
obviously coming from the coach with that old school mentality, he would love that.
And you know what else? The amount of respect I have for DB on how much he would have lost to fines through the years, he doesn't care. He's just like, I'll just do it again.
Well, he was on 100 mil or something. He's on 40 mil a year, isn't he? Didn't he sign? I mean,
to watch go out the door.
He's got that fine money in the glove box.
everyone that plays for the Rockets has been paid. What do you got over there, Cocky? You're cooking something up.
Makes me sick. This contract makes me ill. Anyways, I'm not bitter at all. I just remember I was playing an event in Houston. I thought, you know what? Come and watch the big fella play. See what this fuss. Obviously, Dylan Brooks, difference maker. Goes 0 of 10. I was like, yeah. The crowd was booing him every time he touched the ball. I was like, oh yeah, no.
Home crowd.
I've got a few presents I'm going to hand out in a second, boys, but I'll let you go one more.
Just one more. I'm fascinated about the locker room stuff and the culture because obviously it's so different in Australia to over there. And, you know, like at halftime when you're down 20, like does anyone get a rev up? And like is that sort of culture? Does the coach say much at halftime or pre-match? Like obviously 82 games in this season, it's heavily diluted with, I guess, the care factor. How does it go
I
there?
thought that was going in a way different direction with you.
Mate, because your mind's always in the gutter.
Look, I think you're right. In certain teams, the care factor is diluted. I think for us, there was like that's not us.
Yeah.
Like Ime is like balls to the wall every single game.
He looks like an intense man.
You come in down, like he comes in the locker room down 20 at halftime. And I'm about to swear a lot here, but he'll be like, man, you're some soft ass man. Like this is man. Like he just like he'll go in on us, no problem. And that's like he's consistently.
I love that.
Like you see him during the game where something goes wrong, and the camera will scan to him, and he's sitting there in his chair like this.
Oh, what about when he was spraying LeBron James from the sidelines? I didn't mind.
He does that. Actually, he's still a player.
Yeah.
Like that's what we laugh about is he's kind of still got that like player mentality, and I think that's like almost refreshing in the NBA because a lot of coaches will kind of be a little bit more relaxed, and that's where you kind of see you see teams kind of playing with that relaxed. But our whole thing this year was just play harder than everybody else because of like the style of play we had, and so that meant that he had to come with that as well. So every game it was like if we were messing up, there wasn't so much adjustments; it was do everything harder, and it was just constantly like that. So he would spray every now and again. Fred was like probably the most vocal in the locker room as far as like really getting up and like getting into guys, and Fred gets on Alpy a lot, but I think that's really good for our team. So yeah, like for the most part, you can get pretty relaxed during an 82 game season, but we didn't have so much of that. And we had a great locker room where there was a balance of like pretty light and easy, and then there was like some intensity, and there was like a little bit of in between. So
You and Steve Adams.
Yeah, correct.
Having a bit of a giggle.
Yeah, correct. And then like Jeff Green and whatnot. Like Jeff's a super chill guy that I hang out with a lot and just talk with. So yeah.
Love that.
Love it. Speaking about loving it, boys, I've got to say we love the NBA store. I've contacted them and said that the Aces NBA show has a massive guest on, and we also have a few things. A few people have said certain things on this show. Jock, you wouldn't have tuned in because we've just launched, but actually you would have because it's the biggest NBA show in Australia.
Of course.
So anyway, a huge shout out to the NBA store. I'll put it up there. Stores in Melbourne, Emporium in Sydney, and Martin Place. Go check it out. The one in Emporium's unbelievable. You could get so many stuff. Now, boys, I got you a few presents. Jock, I've got you a jersey to sign there. We're going to give that away.
This looks like the biggest fan play. Look at it. Plug a locket over here.
Plug a locket. Mate, this is the grouse. Now, I'm going to start. I've got to start with you, Pistol, because you said this team would. What'd you say? The broomstick, Cleveland, get the broomstick out. So there's a Pops Halliburton shirt for you. So you can put that one on, mate.
Halliburton.
Now, Cocky, I know you have similar body to Chet Holmgren, so you get. now, Jock, I don't know if you want to put your own jersey on, so I've gone and said you can have a Jokic one or you can have your own one, mate. So, Jock, here's one for you, King. And look, this is the big one. While the boys are putting them on, Jock's got that's the homegrown. Look at that. How good's that? The NBA store has every jersey. The best thing is they've got the biggest range of current and heritage NBA gear. So make sure you check out the NBA store. And one more. We all know, guys, Boston is a lock out of the East. So I've done it myself because he said he's going to walk down the street. The NBA store have treated you to a full kit. And what was the player that he said last week, boys? What was the player?
Oh, Josh Hart.
Josh Hart custom.
You got me the big pants.
The New York Knicks. Hey, not just that, you got the socks as well. Get ready for that. We've got you the sleeve. Yeah, got the sleeve and
shooter's sleeve.
And on cue, Jock.
Headband.
The headband. There you go. So big shout out to the NBA
So
store.
if they lose,
That's a big pen.
Well, we might be going early here because there's still 2 games to go.
Going real early.
But you have said that you will walk down the street for hours with your new account, fresh off maths, so 150,000. And a few nappies around the side. I've got a pen here for
163,000,
Where's
mate.
that pen gone? You can get that pen ready.
to be fair, yours was more like I was with you though. I thought Boston
on.
was still.
Hang on,
mind
we
you,
haven't lost yet.
we
You
haven't
can put it on for the show.
All right.
We haven't even spoke about like the Tatum Achilles. That's just like that's shit. So
shattering.
mine was different with what was Darius Garland's injury? Sprained toe.
Bruce nail, I reckon.
Bruce I told you though about the Cavs. I know I thought they were going to sweep. I underestimated the pace a little bit, but I also knew I said it. The lights got too bright once again.
Can we talk about Max Strus sending that text message?
God. I didn't know
He's
that
gone.
until I sent it through. What was the message again?
He's gone to the team. If you guys don't believe you can win this, you might as well not get off the plane. He's backed that up with an 0 of 9 shooting performance.
My thing is who leaks that? Who's sitting
Yeah,
there with
that's
so
true.
much spite being like, I'm going to throw Max Strus under the bus?
Is that a player?
Have to be.
I have no idea.
Well, okay, so are you in WhatsApp groups with players and officials or just players? I'm just trying to think. There's got to be a group chat.
We're only in group chats with players, and there's like the managers, like the managers of the team, the
So
equipment
someone's leaked
guys,
it.
stuff like that. You get security in there sometimes, but
No, I think it got leaked though at the start where they were like, "Hey, man,
beforehand, was
we're
it?
ready to go because Max sent us this message." But again, like if you need, like
dude,
if
I'm
that-
protecting my guys on that. I'm being like,
That's
don't
the
say
other
anything
side.
until we win.
The other side of that is this, like if Donovan sent that,
from a
you'd be
role
like,
player.
yeah, okay, like let's get this out there. Donovan's like, well, no offense to Max Strus. I know you're going to send offense. No offense to Max Strus. But maybe let's like, we've got guys who have just achieved a little bit more so far. No offense to him, but there's other guys that probably that would come a little bit heavier from.
Yeah, it's hard to take that as serious as it's coming from your star player who's showing up every game. But on that similar topic, who's leaking the information to like Woj and Shams and that?
Yeah, mate.
does that
Honestly,
work?
that's that. I think a lot of that is agency based. So there's like oftentimes there are agents who will have better relationships with like the Wojs or the Shams or whatever. And so I think that's how a lot of it gets out. So obviously a player's gone and like showed an agent or something, in my opinion, and then it's kind of gone from there. But that's as far as I know, because I've never heard a player be like, "Oh yeah, me and Woj are tight, or me and Shams are super tight," and I'm giving him like info. Like
Have you had anything either related to you or like your team that you're on where you're like, you see it on Twitter or something before it's happened?
Well, mate, Twitter is such a bloodbath.
Tell me about it, boys.
Mate, I was-
Final. Don't drop a mark or you'll
when
get.
I
I deleted it.
When I was in
2015,
Phoenix,
it's gone.
I was like, Twitter's the greatest thing in the world.
You off it now?
And then, oh, mate, I was offered about 3 days into my Houston contract. I was like, I'm getting off this.
It's bad.
It's horrendous.
Yeah.
And like my family and stuff will like check on it sometimes and see a couple things. And I'm like, just stop looking. you
Well,
know?
he's got like 8 burners from
Yeah.
maths. So that's
Yeah,
he's
he's got
covered.
9. He's just got the what is it called? The Uber Eats.
Jeff Eats. Just
Jeff Eats.
started my own cooking page, boys. Give that a plug. Back to Jock.
Speaking of the
superstar in the building, and we're plugging a cooking
you wouldn't
page.
have burners, you just go straight at it.
No, I'll go straight at it. It's good. There's nothing better when you're winning. When you're losing, it's the worst app in the world. When you're winning, you're like,
Well, it's
what are you
very
saying
tough.
now?
Yeah, I wouldn't know what winning is, cockies. Neither would Cleveland at home. They went 0-5 against the Pacers all year. Can you believe that? That's a crazy stat. They were 36-5 against everybody else
At home.
and then the Pacers just destroyed them in front of their home fans.
The Pacers thing doesn't surprise me all that much.
Really?
Mate, playing against them through the year, they have such a unique offense in particular. Their defense isn't that great. Like it wasn't intimidating. But, mate, their offense is the quickest. I think it's the quickest in the league, and they just drive, cut, move the ball, and there's so much movement going on, and that's where you catch NBA teams in particular because you can't really move like that in help defense and stuff. It's just all very like isolated. Yeah, mate, it doesn't surprise me. I didn't expect this, but it doesn't surprise me. You know what I'm saying?
Do you think the big fella is a bit stiff to be most overrated by the anonymous? Were you in that poll?
No, I've actually been in one of those. Might have been my first year, but I wasn't in this one, and I don't even know what.
Well, we don't know how many people are actually
Dyson
on the
says
poll.
I think it's one per team.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And again, so like you wouldn't have Tyrese in the top 5 most overrated. He's a Jet.
No, I wouldn't have him in the most top 5 overrated, but like to be completely honest with you, I think that's like a completely bullshit thing.
If you're in the NBA,
You're in the NBA, you're a good player.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that. Like,
Don't get him started.
Here we go. Come on.
Well,
Say something.
He loves
I just don't understand how Rudy Gobert comes to the 27 and 24 game of his life after I've just rinsed him on the pod. I'm still sick of that big
I on
goober.
Rudy a lot, but I think you would have missed this. Cocky ripped him and said he's the worst player in the league. The next game he had the game of his
27,
life.
He had 2 shockers before that, and then out of nowhere in a massive game, he looks like prime Wilt. I'm like,
And they might
since
win
when?
it all too, to be fair. They might go all the way. Who? Minnesota.
No, not with Rudy up in.
Yeah, no, I can say that. I can say that. Oh, mate, I don't know who's going to win it
If the
now.
Nuggets get through this game
So
7,
as it stands, who have you boys got?
Well, we're going to get to it. I don't want to cut you off. Let's
Oh,
save
sorry,
it.
mate.
Let's save it because we're going to flow through. But I want to start with the lottery, boys, because I don't know if you caught your eyes on that. Dallas, the GM. What's the GM's name again?
Nico Harrison.
Nico Harrison. He was
smartest man in basketball.
he's the biggest villain. Now he might be the king of Dallas. Whatever's going, it's a movie. It's a circus. They've landed the number 1 pick. And Flag looks like going there. So I want to ask you, boys, should Dallas trade the 1 or should they keep it? I'll start with you, Cocky, and we'll work our way down.
Oh, it's an interesting one. I'm kind of torn. On one hand, you lost a young star in Luka that still had a lot of good years ahead. So you get another one in return that could be anything. But yeah, he's all about the championship timeline with Kyrie and AD sort of in their prime. They got a few more good years left. You want to trade for a Giannis, it's an interesting time to do so, but it's also tough kind of sacrificing your future for that. So I'm torn. I would say keep it.
Gee,
Okay.
that was a long time to get off that fence.
Yeah, that
I was like, geez,
he got off
I got a
it
wedgie from it.
though. You just got there, Jock. What are you doing if you're the GM of Dallas?
I'm probably keeping it as well, to be completely honest with you.
Yeah, and have you heard anything about Cooper Flag?
I've heard some really good stuff out of the coaches that were at the US camp, and then Amen was at the camp as well pre-Olympics, and they just said he's
legit.
He's legit. Like it won't take a whole lot of. There won't be growing pains. So if you're Dallas, depending on what the priority is, because there was a lot of conspiracies to come out of that trade as to what they're trying to do. Are they trying to move the organization? Do they really want to win because of the casino stuff? I have no idea about any of that. But if I'm them, I'm like, yeah, let's go for it.
Keep it.
Yeah.
I love the conspiracies, by the way. They are that because the more that this happens, the
sicko.
more I'm just like, hang on. Even back to the trade where I was like, well, this kind of makes the whole Vegas one. That's the big one about moving the team to Vegas. I'm like, this makes sense. I'm trading it though.
Are you?
Because
For who?
well, I think Giannis, because if they're in win now mode, because you've got AD for win. You spoke about it last year. I mean, we're in win now mode.
AD and Giannis.
I think Kyrie's due back January and February from his ACL.
Yeah.
So like he's 35, is he?
36. I think.
36. So you've only got a couple of years left there. You get some other role players. They're going to have to get rid of a rebuild in Milwaukee. The problem is though, if the Spurs make that move first for Giannis,
How
and
many
trade
bigs have they got
the
though?
second pick.
Lively, Gaff, that'd be 4 monsters.
Well, you have to trade a few of those obviously to get Giannis.
Well, that's the thing. You got to give up so much to get
Yeah.
Giannis when you've already got like a pretty good damn team right now, and you could bleed him in pretty quickly. Anyway, this is your. I'm sorry, mate. This is yours.
no, I don't. Yeah, I'd probably. I'd trade. I'm just more on the whole lottery thing. geez, you'd be stiff to be a Washington fan.
Oh, yeah.
Like you're all year. And then it comes down and you don't even get a top 5 pick. I mean, this was the
What did they land? I don't even
I think
see.
they landed at 5 or 6, and then who had
get
the
it
other?
up. I'll get it
Utah
up while
had
you
the
keep
6.
talking.
They were switched. Like the Spurs have the 2nd pick. Like you'd be absolutely flat.
Needed him in Utah. Utah would have been,
Cooper
yeah,
Fly.
Utah would have been. a
I
good
thought
fit.
he was going to go Utah.
What about San Antonio Spurs sitting there? There's only 2 left. I'm going, there's no way known they get the 1 next to Wemby. Can you imagine?
They're pushing hard. The league is, if we go on conspiracy route, the league's pushing hard to get the Spurs in a good spot.
Well, what's Washington and Charlotte thinking? They've been
Mate,
sitting down at the bottom for
I'd be so
years.
flat.
Even Michael
Philly's
Jordan
got the
couldn't turn it
3rd pick
around.
too. Like Philly's got the 3rd pick just
Yeah.
to further push it. But hey,
You know when you watch a movie, right, and you see like when I remember when I was watching it, and the team that got Dallas, the guy that represented Dallas, mate, when he got the 1, it was like you were watching a movie. Just him, just so happy. I was like, I've seen this. This is like acting. I just couldn't believe how it was all happening. Anyway,
so you're on board the conspiracy.
Well, no, I'm not because I've read up about how they do it, and it's almost impossible
No, I agree.
What?
That's not the point
the
of
way they do the lottery.
Yeah, but that's not
Oh,
fun.
yeah.
I know it's impossible to read, but that's not fun.
Yeah.
But let's have fun.
Okay, I believe in it. Then. All right, so keep trade and
Keep. Like Jock said, I did see the USA stuff. I didn't watch much college basketball, but what he was doing at that USA camp is pretty special for a young kid. And, coming into an organization that's got those good players like AD and Kyrie, I think it's a good call to keep him.
love it, boys, love it. I'll keep him and keep this show moving. Now, did anyone watch OKC?
That was the segue we wanted.
Do you like that little segue?
That was nice.
I've paused now, so it's not as good. OKC and Nuggets. The Nuggets have forced Game 7. And, Jock, we're going to talk about Jokic because you have to play on him all the time. But before we do, boys, like this series has been box office. It's been unbelievable. Murray today, sick, goes out and dominates. All their players are just rocking up. OKC got in foul trouble. Now we get Game 7. You got experience via the youth. They obviously got the home court advantage. Who do we think is going to win this game?
I think Denver now.
Oh, wow.
I do. And talk about playoff Jimmy, it's playoff Jamal Murray. He just goes to another level in playoffs. And
Flu game.
the flu game, there you go, new flu game. But Joker, he's unstoppable. I do think they got the championship experience. I think it's theirs.
Wow.
I think Jaylen Williams had a really, really poor game. I think at home they'll show up. I think OKC will get it done. But
Your calls have been good as well, Pete. So
Yeah.
oh, turn it up, mate. Yours has been a whole lot better.
Clippers, broomstick with Cleveland. So what'd you say? We'll do the opposite.
No, the Clippers. I took the blame. The Cavs one, I'm not taking a blame for. They lights got too bright. The Clippers one, I put faith in James Harden Game 7. I'm never doing that again.
Halliburton's dad over here.
Yeah,
Wrong
Pops
again.
Halliburton sounds a bit sour. Just not Pops Halliburton. Does he get the call up? Surely he gets
No,
it.
he's banned for the rest of the playoffs.
I thought it was temporary. There was a chance that they could, let him back in soon.
I love how much airtime Pops Halliburton's got on this body.
was it a Batiste? What was that one?
Yeah, I said, mate, Stuart would have put him through the floor.
That shit was wild.
Cocky, have you got an opinion before we ask Jock? Because he's played on all of these blokes.
I want the Nuggets to get through. Obviously, I don't know about Gordon's hamstring, but I think, I don't know, my head says OKC, but I think it's going to come down. I think Shea and Jokic are both going to show up. I think it's the next best player, whoever plays well there, whether it's Jaylen Williams or Jamal Murray, I think comes through.
Jock, NBA experience. You're the only one here. Well, Pistols has played, but what do you think? What do you think's going to happen, mate? There's one game to go.
Oh, it's big
Experience for
pressure on
youth,
that.
home court advantage. It's just all happening.
Oh, mate. It's so evenly matched.
Well, how can the Nuggets win then? Tell me how the Nuggets win and how OKC have to win.
Well, I think the Nuggets have got to make shots because I feel as though they've got a lot of guys right now that are just still a little bit inconsistent with their shots. And when that really comes up and rears its head, that's when OKC can just key in on Jokic and Murray and make their lives super difficult. So if you can kind of because they're gonna allow a lot of those guys to kind of shoot the threes they have been, and put a lot of focus on Jokic on the block. And I think that's kind of when I played against him in the playoffs, that played to his favor a lot because we were like, if you come and double him, then it just leaves too many good shooters wide open, and that's how they really beat teams is when he's got those 12 to 15 assists. So we played straight up. OKC has kind of thrown bodies at him, and they're happy to double, I believe, right? Yeah. So
Even though Hartenstein can probably hold it down a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, he's the best
hold
player
it down
in the
and,
world.
like,
If you
he'll
get
have
him,
40,
if you get him in foul trouble early though, that's when Joker just goes to work.
Is he the best player you've ever played against?
Yeah, no questions asked.
Is he
By
the
far.
MVP in your eyes?
Yeah, he should be.
Yes.
100%. I saw a statistic towards the end of the season that said Jokic on the floor versus off the floor is completely insane. And then SGA was like a lot closer.
Right.
I think that just says it to me completely. And then you kind of stack up the fact of where they are, 3-3 in a playoff. Mate, I'm giving it to Jokic for sure.
I know the votes are already in, boys, but I'm telling you, whoever wins Game 7 is getting MVP. That's how it works in
So
the
you're
NFL.
not on that conspiracy.
Yeah, that's my conspiracy. No one knows the votes. You can always just quickly rig that one. I am saying to you boys that if Nuggets win, it's Jokers.
Well, yeah, I'm with you on the fact of that it's the most valuable player, right?
Yeah.
100%.
It's not a Brownlow thing we have here. It's literally like most valuable.
Aaron Gordon, has he just been the man? He's been the man of the moment. Is he is he unsung hero, Cocky? Is he the number one?
Definitely. I think how he's been able to kind of been a consistent jump shooter. He never really was that in Orlando. And a really underrated trade. And Jokic said he's been in his top, one of the best teammates he's ever had. And he's been super consistent for them. And when Jamal's not there, he's been that sort of third guy because Porter Jr. hasn't quite been there this series. So he's been massive for them and kind of does it all for them. So I think, yeah, definitely an unsung hero and he's some clutch shots, put away Pete's team. So
They can't win if he's not available to go with the hammy.
I agree. He does everything for him.
Aaron Gordon.
Yeah.
Because Porter Jr. looked good today, but
Is that confirmed, that hammy?
well, I don't know, man. So
Give it a couple days.
Yeah, but
You can't jab that though.
Yeah, I know.
And it means he's cooked the next. It means that the next level, the Ant-Man would just be eating it up. No Gordon, no worries there, man. Would be saying you'd be saying something better than that. Anyway, let's go to the Knicks game. I was hotter last week than I was just then. Did anyone get on the PointsBet app? If you haven't, download the PointsBet app and check out the American Aces Hub. I said to the traders, give me 23s for Boston Celtics against the Knicks. They had 14 in the first half, and I went the early crow. They ended up, I think it was Big Horford.
20.
Horford hit one with a minute to go. I said, thank you very much. But did you boys get on that?
Of course I got on, Tommy. I'll get on every bet you lay out, and sometimes I don't win money, but that's all right.
Come on, mate. You got to just give me something. We hit the front.
That was you saw it coming a mile away. I'll give you full credit for that.
Tell you now, you boys said there's no chance. You know how many threes? Cocky in the car park said I was off my head. And I think I said Tatum will hit 6, and he did. I think he hit 5, then 6, and then snapped his Achilles. But so he would have hit 8 if he didn't go off the court.
No, he didn't hit 6. I think he hit 5 and 5, didn't he?
I'm
In
positive
the
he
end,
hit
you
6.
got your result. You got your result of
Yeah,
it. And we backed you in there. Why has this turned into us pointing fingers? We're supposed to be on the same
Yes, we
thing.
are. We're
We
a team.
backed you.
It's
We
just-
said it was a good one.
It's poor hosting, to be honest. It's poor hosting. It's poor hosting. But anyway, download the
Start
PointsBet app.
turning on your-
Download
on
that
your
PointsBet app and check it out.
Style podcast over here.
Now, Game 6, Knicks, they are $1.71 and the Boston Celtics are $2.20. I can't believe you get $1.71. The line, 2.5 and over-under's 209.5. Boys, let's talk about the Knicks. Tatum, one of my favourite players for the Celtics. That's Lillard's done the Achilles. Now Tatum's done the Achilles. It's one of the worst injuries. It'd be worse than an ACL, wouldn't it? An
Longer,
Achilles.
right?
Yeah.
Terrible. And I just hate seeing it. So now that he's out, I couldn't believe how well they played in Game 5.
No, they're always going to have that emotional. And plus, and Jock can speak to this too, everyone always talks, the closeout game's the hardest one, right?
Yeah.
It's easy for people who have played hoops to understand it, but why?
I think that you just have that like inbuilt safety net, especially being they were up 3-1, right? Yeah. So then you're like, I got 3 games to get this done. And so the urgency's not there. I think that Game 6 is arguably one of the most important games in the NBA finals or playoff series because especially in the Knicks situation,
You don't want to go back to Boston.
you don't want to go back to Boston and have to close it out in the Game 7. And that's why they say anything can happen in a Game 7 because, you get that emotional dump and then you got to hype back up again real quick. But if I'm the Knicks, I'm like, this is a must win.
100%.
This is a must win.
There is a pulse. Jaylen Brown obviously brought that intensity that he was showing in the finals
And
last
his
year.
left hand a bit too.
Oh,
didn't he?
mate, honestly, like if he brought that from Game 1 of the series, it'd all be over, and I wouldn't be wearing this singlet right now. I'll tell you that much. But no, there's a pulse. I'm excited. There's a little heartbeat there, but obviously we're going to get a hostile crowd at Madison Square. But do you know who the best player was for New York the other day? Porzingis. Honestly.
The unicorn.
That bloke, as long as he doesn't step on the court, I think we're okay. We might actually win the next game.
Something's going on. There's something
How does
more
he
going
not
on.
get
Mate,
I couldn't believe
I'm
it.
happy to go to Boston and pack his bags myself.
Big
He's done.
Can we go? I reckon you were saying that he's the reason you win about 4 weeks ago. You said there was
Something's going on there.
Yeah, there's something more going on.
What is going on there, Jock? Like you see this, but I mean, because it Cornet, he's come on and it's Cornet.
Is it a block party, the big fella?
Yeah, so Cornet's come on and he had the block party and
The big ice cream.
yeah, the big ice cream, the Cornetto. He used to play for the Tigers, used to drain the threes, Cornetto. And
Corletto.
Hey, same head, different haircut. Now back on task here. How does the unicorn not get so much game time, Jock? They've got no Tatum and he's sitting on the pine whole second half.
Mate, I think that Missoula's cut from the same cloth as Ime. You know, I think that it's just whatever's going to get the job done. And I think in that scenario, when the big ice cream is doing the good things that he is, it's it's a no-brainer. Keep him on. I mean, 7 blocks in any kind of game is tough to do, but 7 blocks in a closeout game like that, you got to keep that around.
Yeah, he was enormous. The ice cream.
Take out the superstars in the league and your teammates. Who's your most enjoyable player to watch? And also take out a Star Thompson because they play very similar and they're both beasts.
Does Jamal Murray carry as a superstar?
No, that'd count. I'll give you that.
When Jamal Murray is on a burner, favorite player in the league to watch.
Really?
When Jamal Murray gets hot, it's one of my favorite things to watch. Yeah. Or Book. Book's another one. When he gets going.
We did the most overrated. He said Devin Book, and it took off.
I know you said he was Hey, he goes missing, man. He goes missing. I've been watching the Suns closely, as you know, and the big fella doesn't drain them when you need him.
Jock's nearly fallen off his chair hearing that.
You're allowed to leave whenever.
Hey, at least I'm looking the great man in the eyes and I'm telling him what I think. So I'm not hiding around the edges and just changing the opinion. Hey, it's because he's a superstar. I just thought he needed to shoot more points when they needed him, and putting up 40s and 50s when you can't make playoffs is anyway. Let's keep going for you, Beltman.
Fucking Gillespie, mate. Gillespie played Sabres last year.
Who, Jason?
Jason.
He was Suns fan.
I was when Chris Paul was there.
Yeah.
Let's go Spurs.
Let's go Spurs. Well, they got the 2. He'll be a sniff next year for a ring, hopefully. Now, all right, let's go to the Knicks, boys. Obviously, you're wearing the full kit if they lose this game.
Do we have a date? It's got to be.
It'll be the hottest ticket in town. This game would be the hottest ticket in town. It'd have to be. You wouldn't get a seat.
What street are you going down? Like we're doing like in the.
You might as well name the street because this is a lock.
Well,
So,
What's the busiest street in Melbourne?
I mean, I'm
Chapel.
thinking.
Go Chapel.
Saturday night Chapel.
Go Chapel.
Saturday night Chapel.
Yeah, that would be. That's actually dangerous.
You probably fit in around there at that time.
People think you're normal.
Yeah, they won't think it's a dress up, that's for sure.
Well, if Cat doesn't foul out, I reckon the Knicks easy. What about you? Let's work our way through. Quick prediction.
Mate, come on.
I know you like the Celtics.
No, I think Celtics are a genuine chance. If they bring that intensity they brought last game, they are a genuine chance. And then back to TD Garden.
They're not getting there.
Hey?
Sorry, it's your turn to
Should we
speak.
have a side bet? Should we have a side bet?
We will have a side bet.
All right, let's talk about that off camera here.
Yeah, I think the Knicks. It's too they haven't won in 25 years, right? A chip like this is now with the way like Steph and everyone else has kind of fallen. Tatum's injury. There's a legitimate path for them to make it to a final series. I don't know if they can win it all, but if they don't win this game, geez, you would not want to be in New York. It'll be wild.
Well, it'll be amazing Game 7 as well. Cocky.
I think Nick's got to get one of the next 3 without Tatum. I think Brunson has a big game, and then the big cat stays out of foul trouble, hopefully. And
Mikal Bridges can score the ball.
Yep.
He's another of your old teammate, isn't he?
Yeah, good mate of mine.
Yeah.
He's a superstar.
Yeah.
He's been enormous.
Yeah, he's elite.
Everyone's having a go at him all year. They gave out all the picks. He has been worth
It's a lot of
everyone.
picks still.
Yeah, but sometimes you just got to win. Like those picks, they can turn. Go look at all the draft picks that have been taken with the first 10 of the last 20 years. Some of them are bust. Yeah. So sometimes you're better off just getting a lock that's
This is probably a good chance that while we have Jockey, I know he's a good mate of yours, but the fact that he hasn't missed a game since high school, could you imagine anything like that? No. He played 1 year, he played 73 regular season games.
Dude, it's crazy. Like, having busted my ankle 2 years ago, and I see Mikal do it during a game and jump back up and be like, made me feel like the biggest pussy. I was like, this dude is genuine. He's rubber. He's complete rubber. Mm. It's unimaginable playing this many games consistently, consecutively.
What's he do for recovery? Like, does he do anything extra?
No, he spends a lot of time on the training table during the seasons, but like nothing more.
Do you think he's a little bit like he's just built different?
I think he's just built that way.
Genetic freak.
Yeah.
Jeez, he is good on both sides of the ball.
Dude, his mid-range game is unbelievable. So not to go too much off topic here, but when I got to Phoenix, Mikhail wasn't this. Like, he was kind of, it was more just 3 and D. He'd get to the cup a little bit every now and again, but his mid-range game is among the best now. Like he's, when all our guys, because we had a period during that year where we had like, it was something crazy, like maybe like 5 or 6 of our top 10 out, Mikhail like blossomed into what he is now. And like we really started seeing that come through before he got traded. And then he gets to Brooklyn hitting the ground running and it just goes from there.
You spoke about it. Where were you when he got traded?
We were all in the hotel in Atlanta and the trade goes down. I hear, we're all kind of on edge at this point, and I had the room right in front of the elevators, and I hear somebody yell. I was like, oh, what's that? Just thought Atlanta, strip clubs, everyone's coming that way, whatever it is. Mate, turns out there was like 13 blokes right out the front of my room, and they'd been banging on the door trying to get everyone out there to like go and sit in the hallway together, and I completely missed it. Just fast asleep. So I woke up in the morning, and there's team meetings called because people were like pretty emotional about it, and I'm like, what's going on? Had no clue till I woke up in the morning, seen team meeting, Mikal Bridges, Cam Johnson traded, completely oblivious.
It's a brutal business.
Wow.
It's tough. It's tough.
It is brutal, and it hasn't really helped them, that move, I don't think.
Who, the Suns?
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's a different. That's a whole different podcast.
Yeah, that is a whole different podcast. Boys, this podcast has been elite. Jock, you've been unbelievable. It's been great to have you in here. It's always good to see all our Aussies back in the studio. While we're on the Aussie basketball, last one, it's been an amazing show. And it's going to be, we don't know what's going to happen in this Game 7 with OKC and the Nuggets and obviously your boys taking on the Knicks. But the Boomers, what happens now, after the Olympics? What's the process? There's so many young guns coming through. It must be so exciting. New coach. Just give us an update on what's happening there.
Yeah, massive props to Capes on the new coach. I think we're all pretty pumped about that. Look, it's a long process. We kind of go through our exit meetings, and there's a lot of things that kind of have to be addressed after every campaign. And we kind of, with this one in particular, we all knew that Gorge was done after that Olympics, and so it was what's next in terms of the coaching staff first and foremost. So now that they've figured that out, we're all kind of just excited for what's next. I think there's a little bit of the young boys are coming through into their own, and you have to respect that. And we've got a lot of young guys coming through as well in the draft and all of this. Big shout out to those boys in the combine right now. And so now, it's getting to know each other as a team first and foremost. So we're gonna start introducing getting together in the off seasons prior to major campaigns. So our next one is in 2027, the World Cup, and then it's the Olympics 28. But we're gonna start coming together those years prior just to really have a touch point, get to know each other's games, and I think the most important thing about our culture is just the mateship aspect of it, and looking forward to getting together. And I think that we're really making a point of putting that at the front of our minds. And so we're all going to catch up in LA in August, and coaching staff will all fly in, and it'll just kind of be us getting together and getting to know one another.
Just on the mateship, this isn't very professional, but do you guys get many opportunities to get on the beers together? Looks like a real good crew. It'd be a fun night out, I reckon.
Yeah, we in the lead up to most campaigns, there's a few opportunities we make the most of to
Players Association awards like last year.
Yeah. So we make the most of those opportunities where we can, but once it gets into the swing of things, it's go time. Yeah. So we those campaigns are fun initially, and whilst being serious, and then we kind of start turning that up a bit, and then guys are all we're all mates. Talking about mateship, we are all mates. So we see each other in the off seasons. We see each other occasionally through the season, and a couple of beers might come with that every now and again.
I know we've gone too long, but quickly on that, just like Gideon Dyson in particular, when you're sitting on the bench or even playing against these two, like say this season for Houston, you're playing against Chicago and Atlanta.
Yeah.
Well, if you went, but even either in their years gone by, and they're just doing something unbelievable, and their teammates just might be like they're cooking us right now. Do you have a little bit in the back of your head like, yeah, they are?
There is an aspect of that where you're like, Like, and look, I'll sometimes be like vocal about it as well. No problem. Like, I won't support the other team and be like, oh, go, like, you know, go Chicago, go Atlanta. But I'll be like, man, that was good by Giz, wasn't it? And like, kind of wording up the boys with me. So, yeah, like we get around each other a bit, and like I don't have no clue if they do it for me, but you know, I'm pumped when I see Dyson and Giddy, and there's, you know what the other aspect of it is when they do something that like everyone's like, and I'm like sitting there not surprised about it. I'm like, I told you guys, like you know, you got to watch that. So yeah, it's always good seeing the boys get out there and perform.
Last one, is there one gem coming through that you can tell us now so we can say, yep, Jock told us?
Oh.
Sounds like we're fucked, boys. Sorry, man. I put you under the pump.
Look, I think I'm expecting good things from Ben Henschel. Played for Perth Wildcats.
After he goes and gets paid.
And then I haven't seen him play a whole lot, but I'm hearing really good things about Alex Condon with an N.
Oh, boy. There you go. A couple of gems from our man, Jock Landale. Well, mate, thanks so much for joining us. And thank you to everyone that tunes in every single week on the Aces NBA show. Cocky, you've been enormous. Slow start, but geez, you fired up. Once I said Chet Holmgren, you really fired up over there. So that might be your trigger word. And New York's finest, Pistol, you've been on fire. And Jeffrey, now that you've got that account, we'll get the numbers up on this show, mate. You've been giving more plugs than I have to the NBA store. And if you haven't seen the NBA store, get there. It's an absolute cracker. Look at this. They got every single jersey. You can't get the Ant-Man. You can't get Jock's jersey anywhere except for the Emporium one right here in Melbourne. That's all I've got for you guys. Hope you enjoyed this show. Hit subscribe, and we'll see you next week, same time, right here on American Aces.
You need your bodyguard to be quick. And Gas is as quick as they come. Still, he's not as quick as a PointsBet app where I can place my same game multi before he's had a chance to even... We'll call that a draw.
It's never been quicker to piece together an AFL same-game multi with PointsBet.
Memories.
PointsBet. What are you really gambling with? For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website.